Hello and welcome. Now in this video we are going to walk through a few tips that you can use when you are recording instructional style videos. In instructional style videos you will be either narrating or you'll be discussing points as you scroll through your PowerPoint presentation or your presentation software. Now there are a couple of settings that you are going to want to be aware of. The first is you're going to want to be aware of the Design tab. And if you're not using PowerPoint, you'll want to find the equivalent in the software you're using. In PowerPoint, you will notice that there is a diagonal button here that says Slide Size. You will want to make sure that you are using the widescreen size, mainly because this is how most videos are going to fit well on the screen. Now, the other thing that you're noticing that is invisible to the recording of this video is that the monitor being used to record this video is 1920 by 1080, which matches the widescreen size. Now, if you have a monitor that is of a different size and you're not recording on that monitor, you are going to want to use one that's going to be either a custom size that'll be proportional to the monitor you're using, or one that's very close in size, whether it is 4 by 3 or 16 by 9. Now, another thing that you're going to want to be aware of is the transitions screen. And transitions are going to be seen as you move from slide to slide, not within the slide, but between the slides. Now, you will typically want to have no transitions, mainly because this can be distracting for the individual and you want them to be focused on the information while you narrate. The next tab over is animations. Now, when you have animations, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to scroll through your points one at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our cursor inside of this slide. And what you'll notice is that when we set our animations, we need to place our cursor next to one of the lines, and then we'll need to decide what our animation is. For example, we can use any of these animations. In general, you want to try to keep your animation as unobtrusive as possible. So you don't want to have something that's going to be a distraction. Now in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use the float in animation. And you'll notice that these points float in one at a time. Now it's quite possible that you may not want your points to float in all together in one section. So for example, you'll notice that with line 1, you'll notice that there is a number 1. So this means that this will come one at a time. You'll notice that the number 2, though, coincides with both this point and 3 subpoints with it. And so how does that appear on screen? In order to illustrate that, we can just go to the slideshow, go to from the current slide, and we can see that all of these points go with the subpoints. And that may not be the way you want to do it. You may want to have it so that each subpoint comes one after the other. So if that's the case, we're going to hit the escape button. And what we're going to do is to go back to the animations. And we're going to place our cursor at the first subpoint. And when we do that, what you're going to notice is that we're going to go over to this Start tab, and we're going to use the tab that says On Click. When we click that, here's what you're going to notice. You're going to notice that the numbers have changed from 2, 2, 2, 2 to 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And that means then that 3 will come after 2 and they'll all come one at a time. So, for example, if we go back to the slideshow, and we click the current slide, and we tab through, what we're going to notice now is that our points come one at a time. So to go back to the screen now, we're going to hit the escape button to go back to the slide. Now, it's quite possible also that we may want to use notes with our presentation. And if that's the case, we can go to the view screen. We can then go to this view that says Notes page. What you're going to notice is that there are two parts of our presentation now, and we can write in our notes for this slide. So if we want to narrate the slide or we want to be aware of something while we are talking through the points, we can write notes in this area. This can be especially handy if we are using this as a handout or if we are using this in a presentation. And in the next video, we'll show you how notes written on this slide can help you when you're doing an actual presentation. So to that end, we're going to write in some text here. And so in the next video, we'll explore this, where we've gone to this slide for Amazon Video Direct royalties, and we've written in the text, paid monthly, 90 days and 55%. And you'll see now how this will help us when we are creating instructional style videos and we're recording. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are picking it up in this video from the point at which we wrote in notes for our presentation while we're recording a video. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our normal screen by clicking this normal link. It takes us back to the normal PowerPoint presentation screen. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the Slideshow tab. When we go to the Slideshow tab, we want to make sure that this box is ticked, and that is Use Presenter View. That Use Presenter View is going to help us, especially if we have two monitors. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the slide that we're going to start narrating. And in this case, we're going to assume that this slide, the one Amazon Video Direct royalties, is the one that we're going to be narrating in our actual video. So before we start the presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to click this button that says From Current Slide. And that actually starts the PowerPoint presentation from this slide at the very beginning. So we click this button. What you're going to notice is that we're ready to start scrolling through our points. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch between the view where we're recording, or we would be recording, and we're going to switch it to the presenter view that we just talked about. Now this presenter view is going to help us, especially if we have two screens. And you'll notice right here in the notes section that there are our notes. It's a paid monthly, 90 days and 55%. So if we wanted to make sure that we mention these things during our presentation, they would be visible to us on our second screen. Now the other thing that we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to see what's going to come on our screen before it actually happens. So for example, the screen on the left side is the one that's going to be shown to the people that are going to be seeing the video. The screen on the right side will be the one that has the next click point of the mouse. So every time that we advance, what's going to happen is the slide that's showing on the video, it's going to advance, and then so will the presentation slide. And this will be on the right side of our second monitor. What we can do in this case is we can switch back and forth between the display settings, and then we're then showing our monitor view in order to do the video. We're going to go back to the presenter view for one more tip. When we come back to the presenter view, you're going to notice that there is a button that has 3 dots in it, and this will give us our other slideshow options. So for example, you'll see here that we can make our screen all black, or we can make it all white, or if we just want to end the show very easily, we can click this link. We can also click the very same link at the top. If we had a pen and we wanted to write on the screen for the audience, we could do that by clicking the pen tool. And you can see that here just by us being able to write in on top of the slide. Now this is very difficult to do in an orderly fashion, so you'll want to make sure that either you have a pen pad or you have a tablet where you have control over the pen, that you know how to make it look legible. And in order to switch back, what we're going to do, I'm going to switch back to the presenter view so you can see how we're going to do this. All you'll need to do then is to go back to your pen, and then you're going to make sure that you erase the ink on all the slide, and then your slide goes back to normal. So now I'm going to switch back to our PowerPoint view. And those are some ways that you can have additional control over your PowerPoint presentation while you're recording the video, so that you can add to the variety that your viewers are seeing. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when you're recording demonstration style videos and you are displaying what is on your screen for the people who are watching your video, there are a couple of things that you will want. One of the first things you'll want to do is you'll want to make sure that you're using the highest resolution possible on the screen where you're going to be displaying your demo and narration. So for example, you'll notice here that for this monitor where we're recording the video, the resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is considered to be HD. If possible, that's the resolution that you'll want to use, or at minimum, you'll want to use 1280 by 720. Now, when you are demonstrating content on the web, one distraction that routinely happens to video creators is they show the address bar and sometimes they even show typing. If you can avoid doing that, one of the ways that you can accomplish this is to set up any tabs that you're going to open before you start recording. So for example, we're going to open up 5 tabs. So you'll notice that we have open Amazon, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. One of the ways that we can record this is we can record this by going to our browser and hitting the F11 key, which will take us to full screen mode. What that does is that eliminates the address bar and you can demonstrate your screen without your viewer seeing it. And one of the other things that you can do while you're using this mode is you can switch back and forth between tabs by hitting the Control and the Tab key. And you can move between screens. Control then Tab. You move to the Google screen, Control then Tab. You can move to the next, which is the Facebook screen, Control then Tab, and we move back to the screen where we started. We can also tab through pages while we're in full screen mode. So for example, if we click a link and we go to some other pages, what we'll need to do now if we want to go backwards is we'll hit the Alt key and then we'll hit the left arrow and that'll take us back one screen. We'll hit the Alt key and the left arrow, that'll take us back another screen. We'll click the Alt key and the left arrow and that'll take us back to the very beginning. If we click the Alt key and then the right arrow key, that'll take us forward. We'll do it again and that'll take us forward one more screen. If we want the address bar to appear again, we can click F11 and then our screen reflects the fact that the address bar is now visible. Now in the next video, we'll go through a few more tips that you'll need to record your demonstration style video. Okay, so with that, thanks and I'll see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to take a look at the recording toolbar. And to do that, we're going to open up our recording bar. And you'll notice that this is an active bar. So in other words, this is reflecting what is being recorded right now for this video. Now, where you're going to want to look going to be in this Tools menu, and you're going to want to do this before you start the video. We're going to click Tools, and you'll notice that the Options key is grayed out. Now you're now looking at a screenshot of the Options tab. And what you're going to notice is that there is a section here for inputs, and there's a section here for hotkeys. You want to make sure that you know what's in the hotkey section. Now what you can do with these hotkeys is you can make it so that all you'll need to do is to hit a particular button when you want to affect some kind of major change while you're recording. And in particular, while you're doing the recording, you may often need to pause. Maybe you need to collect your thoughts. Maybe you need to change direction in the presentation. And you want to be able to do this in an easy to remember way. So you can set up your pause key and the recording will stop while you collect your thoughts. And when you hit F9 again, the recording will start again. So you don't have to start all over again when you think you might have made a mistake. You can stop the recording by setting up your stop hotkey. Now these two keys in particular are important while you're doing demonstration style videos because by using them you can record your videos in one take and edit them in one take instead of starting them and then never quite finishing the video. Now lastly, you'll notice that the mouse is moving on this page. When you edit your video, you can edit so that this cursor will be highlighted. It can be highlighted in a magnifying glass or it can be highlighted in yellow as it moves around the screen. And so while you are demonstrating, you'll want to be aware of what this cursor is doing in case you re-edit the video by showing the cursor either being highlighted or magnified. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are now looking at a video that's being edited inside of Camtasia 8. And regardless of your video editing software, you're going to have some decisions to make about editing. Now, one thing that we're going to do in the editing process is we're going to make sure that we edit in the highest resolution possible. And we're going to show you how to do this in Camtasia 8. You'll need to make sure that you can do the very same process inside of the video software that you own. Now, the default settings in Camtasia when you start the final production process say 854 by 480. However, we want to make sure that this is going to be closest to our recording dimensions, which we should have done, if possible, at 1920 by 1080. So we want to make sure that we use those dimensions. Now, if possible, during the rendering process, we want to set our audio at the highest level that we can, and typically this is going to be right at 192 kbps. Now, in some cases, your video editing software will give you the option of being able to put metadata inside of the video file. Now, we will not have to do this because we'll be doing this inside of Amazon Video Direct. So where you have the project information, the author information, and even the iTunes information, you'll want to make sure that you have this correct for the upload process. You don't have to have it for the final production. And finally, for your video section, typically the default settings for a software application like Camtasia or Screencast-O-Matic will be correct from the start. However, you can make sure that your frame rate is going to be as high as you can if you can produce it at 30 frames per second or 15. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, there are several instances inside of the screens where you're going to be uploading your videos where you are going to be required to upload some graphics for your videos. And you may want to have some of these graphics created. So this video is going to detail the graphics you're going to need for your account. So to create the necessary artwork, when you are creating episodes or episodic videos, you are going to need seasonal art. And those are going to require some specific aspects to the graphics. You're going to need a widescreen aspect. You're going to need a 1920 by 1080 photo to appear correctly, and it can be JPEG or PNG. Now, there is key art that you'll need to create that is also a 4:3 aspect ratio. That'll need to be 1600 by 1200, JPEG or PNG. And there is an optional file that you'll want to upload that's a 16:9 aspect ratio. It's 1920 by 1080, JPEG or PNG, and this is going to be a background image. It's only going to appear on the devices in order to convey mood. And you'll see the request for the three of these when you are uploading your image. You'll see one here in the key art area as well as the background image. Now, you can also include artwork for individual episodes. That episode will require a key art aspect ratio of 4:3. It'll need to be 1600 by 1200, and it'll be JPEG or PNG. And you'll see that request when you are uploading your individual episode video. Now, for the standalone videos, the key art will have a 16:9 aspect ratio. It'll need to be 1920 by 1080, JPEG or PNG. Now, you'll also have another key art piece. This time, though, it'll be 3:4 aspect ratio, so not 4:3. That means then that the art will be 1200 by 1600. And again, you want to pay attention to that. It's a little different than the other size. That'll also need to be JPEG or PNG. Now, there's also space for a background image, and it'll need to be 1920 by 1080, JPEG or PNG, and once again, it's going to be optional because it's only designed to convey mood on certain devices. And you'll see that here in the standalone upload section, where the second key art piece is 3 by 4. Now, there's also a landing page that you're being given and you're going to be able to use along with your videos that will require you to have a logo. That logo will need to be 950 by 250. You'll need to use a PNG with a transparent background. You're also going to have a background image that will need to be 3000 by 600, as well as another background image which is 1920 by 720. So one question is, well, how will you create the designs? Now, what you can do is you can hire out the base design. You can hire those designs out on Fiverr or the Warrior Forum in the Warriors for Hire section. Now, when you do hire out these graphics, you want to make sure that you ask for the PSD file. In some cases, the designer may ask you for additional funds to do that, and it's actually going to be worth it for you to get those PSD files because you will then be able to adapt them and brand them for future designs when you do more videos. And you'll be able to keep a consistent design across all of your videos. Now, to do this, you are going to need some graphic editing skill, not a lot, but a minimal amount, and you'll need some kind of graphics editing application, something like Photoshop or an equivalent one. Now, another way for you to create the designs is to manipulate existing designs. You can use private label rights content where you have PSD files or graphics already, and you can change those designs to reflect your videos. If you have some kind of graphic design software application, this will be fairly easy. What you'll need to do is you'll need to use the flat PSD graphic, and by using that graphic, you'll be able to manipulate the design for the different sizes. Of course, you can also use a design program like Canva where you can do the design yourself from scratch. And of course, you can always use a hybrid version of all of these methods. You're now looking at a flat graphic design from a private label rights product inside of Photoshop. And what we can do is we can go and open a new file. It's going to be one of the dimensions that we need. So for example, we would go to this file area. We're going to click New. We're then going to open up this new size, and we want this new size to be 1920 by 1080. We're going to click Create. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our flat design. We're first going to select all. We're going to then copy merged. Then we're going to go back to our new design, and then we're going to place that design and paste it in. Now this is a 1920 by 1080 image, and so we want this design to be able to fit what we're trying to do. Now, when you have a PSD file, you can manipulate the size of this file without losing the proportions of the graphics and the text on the design. So for example, what we can do is we can zoom out of this design, and then we can grab the handles and we can manipulate the design in order to fit our canvas. We can make sure that we keep the aspect ratio in Photoshop. And once we have our design the way we want, all we're going to do is we're then going to click this button. We're going to apply the design, and you'll notice then that it'll actually clear up. We can then save this design as a new file, and we can save it as a new file in the format that we want. So if we want to use JPEG or we want to use PNG, we can do that. So again, if you know how to manipulate a design here, and you can actually go into the title and you know how to change the title and some of the letters and maybe even one of the images, this is an easy way to take a professional design and turn it into one for your videos. And it also demonstrates the fact that when you get a PSD file from the designer, all you'll need to do then is know how to manipulate that design so that you can begin placing it on all of your videos. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, whether you're creating an episodic video or a standalone title, you will be required by Amazon in order to place captions along with your video. So in order to do that, you are going to need a transcription of your video. Amazon does give recommendations for video captioning service or video transcription. And Amazon has its own transcription service called Amazon Transcribe, where you have a free tier, 60 minutes per month for 12 months. You will actually get an hour's worth of free transcription. And then afterward, the transcription is a small amount per second. Now, in order to use Amazon Transcribe, you are going to need to have an Amazon S3 account. And so if you have a file that's stored in Amazon S3, you'll be able to use that file along with Amazon Transcribe. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now, in this video, we are going to walk through the process of uploading a standalone video. So to do that, you're going to click your videos. What you're going to do then is you're going to add your standalone title, and you're going to write in a title, pick a category, and then select the language that you want your metadata to be in. Once you do that, you'll then click continue. Now you'll then want to write in your synopsis. Now, you want to make sure that this synopsis does not have self-promotional details. You aren't going to be able to put URLs in here, so you do want this to reflect what your title is going to be about. Once you've done that, you're then going to click the category or genre, and when you click inside of the area, you're going to notice that there's going to be a drop-down menu, and you're going to be able to find the exact category that Amazon Video Direct wants you to place. You'll then choose your language, and then you'll choose a release date. You'll then want to choose a rating, and in some cases, you are not going to have a rating for your title. If that's the case, you're going to click suggested rating, is that the title is not officially rated. And you can then make your title available for all audiences. You're then going to upload the art that you created. Now, if you already have an Amazon S3 account and you have that artwork loaded on Amazon S3, you can copy the file from your Amazon S3 account over into Amazon Video Direct. However, if your file is on your hard drive, you can upload that file by clicking the Browse button. Once you have everything on the page that you want, you'll then click Save. Once you've saved this page, you'll then want to move to the cast and crew page. You'll want to write in the name of the creator as well as your crew member. Now, Amazon Video Direct is going to require that you have at least one crew member, and what you're going to do is you're going to write in the role of that individual. And then if you don't want to have a cast member, you can leave this out. Once you have all this information ready, you can then click Save. You'll then move to your video assets section. And what you'll be doing then is you'll be uploading your file, your captions, and if you have a trailer, you can upload that trailer to this area. And once you have the necessary content, you can then click Save. Now, once you've uploaded your content, one thing you'll want to note is that in order to get your transcribe file to go along with the file that you're uploading with your video, it will need to be an SRT file or one of the formats outlined by Amazon. We'll now go to the Availability tab, and we'll choose where we want the content to be made available. We'll click all of the applicable places where we want it to be available. We'll determine how we want it to be streamed. And once we've done all that, we'll then click Save. And once you have uploaded and you have completed all of your titles, you will then be ready to publish your video for viewing on Amazon Video Direct. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to produce an episodic video title. So to get started, we're going to click Your Videos. We're then going to click Episodic. We're then going to click Add Series. And we're going to give our series a title and synopsis. We will then pick a category. And then we'll pick our metadata language and click Continue. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our listing for the actual season. And we'll need to write in another synopsis for the season. We'll then click our genres. We'll then choose our language. And where it's applicable, we'll write in the original release year. Now again, you don't have to add a rating, but if you want to do it that way, you want to click Suggested Rating, Title Not Officially Rated, and then make it available for all ages. You'll then upload your graphics according to the right dimensions. And once you have your seasonal information in, you'll then click Save. We'll then move on to the creator. Remember, you are going to need to make sure that you have at least one crew member mentioned. Now, if you really don't have a cast member, you don't have to place one there. You can then click Save. You'll then be able to move on to individual episodes, and you'll start by adding a new episode. And of course, each individual episode will have its own title, release date, synopsis, the video file, the captions file, and an optional art file. Now once you upload episodes, what you'll need to do is you'll need to select the language, the frame rate, and then the language for the captions. Again, you'll want to make sure your transcription is going to be an SRT file, and then you'll click Save. Amazon Video Direct will start the upload process for your video. You then want to go to your Availability tab. You want to make it available in the locations where you want it to be seen. And again, you can determine either base pricing or value pricing. Again, that's based on your preference. And once you've done that, you'll then click Save. And once you've completed all 4 sections, you are then ready to publish your video so that others can begin to watch on Amazon Video Direct. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Amazon will give you the ability to customize your landing page for your videos. And so you can do that by clicking Landing Page. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to write in the name that you want to display to your customers. And you'll want to write in your custom URL. So you'll notice that the custom URL will start with amazon.com/v. What you'll do is you'll write in what you want to appear after the URL. Once you've uploaded all your logos according to the dimensions that Amazon gives you, you're going to take note of how it's going to appear on the actual branding. Now, we've uploaded some dummy images, but you'll notice that the logo appears right in the middle of this preview, and then it appears right in the middle of this web preview, and then your background images appear in these areas. And so you'll want to take note of this and adjust your logos accordingly. Now, one of the things that you'll note is that the partner name went away when there was no preview. So now once you have your landing page looking the way you'd like it to look with the information that you have there, you're then going to click Feature Enabled, and then you'll click Save. Now in this case, you'll note that Amazon is giving you an error message that says that your landing page is unavailable, mainly because you need to make sure that you've got 2 published titles before you can launch your landing page. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In conclusion, you need to remember that Amazon does not want your video to be a promotional video. It means that you don't want the video to be something that will be sending people to landing pages inside of the actual video itself. In addition to that, in the descriptions and in the titles, those are not typically supposed to be promotional either. So there are other promotional methods, but you don't want to have this as part of the video or the description. Amazon does give you a landing page for your videos. So this is one of the promotional elements that Amazon does give you. And remember that you do get an amazon.com/V and any name that you designate. So even if right now you're not necessarily ready to create videos, one of the things you want to do is you want to go in and set up your account so that you can claim your name quickly. So currently, Amazon does not connect Kindle with Video Direct. However, you will see similar subject matter appearing together on the page. So one of the things that you can test is if you have something in Kindle, you want to keep it very similar to something that you have in Amazon Video Direct to trigger suggestions for the actual customer. Now, one important thing to note is that Amazon does allow licensed content. That means that you do not have to originate the content. And it means that you can also use private label rights content. Now, that is said with caution. You can get a bad reputation in your reviews if your content is not considered to be robust enough for the customers. And you'll see the answer to this question in a recent inquiry to Amazon Video Direct. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.